Nick Saban's retirement at Alabama was the ultimate domino effect to change the course of college football history as we knew it. It just carries a bit more weight than coaching searches and the transfer portal running rampant with players that you never thought would leave Titletown. Nay, this has an effect on a multitude of programs that have been at the wrath of Saban's terror for 17 seasons down in Titletown. But now that he's stepping away from the game, my question to you: who benefits the most in the SEC from his departure? Let's go ahead and talk about it. But if you are new here, well, welcome on into the channel, people. My name is Cole Thompson. I'm a radio show host based in Houston, and I talk college football daily. I get it. The clock has struck zero on 2023, but I'm hellbent on keeping you entertained all the way up until the start of 2024. So if you need your daily dose of college football, well, let's go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below. Leave a comment telling me your thoughts on which team benefits the most from Saban's departure. Tell your friends, your family, your mortal enemies, your best of bros, SEC faithful, and college football aficionados everywhere about this channel, because we are on the race to become the #1 YouTube show talking college football daily. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button, but follow me on social media as well, at Mr. Cole Thompson. That way, conversations surrounding our favorite sport never have to stop flowing. Saban's departure was the atom bomb of all atom bombs dropped on our sport, because of it's going to change the way that we view college football, whether that be for the better or for the worse. If you're an Alabama fan, you feel like the sky is falling and that you're hitting a black hole, but you are in good hands with Kalen DeBoer. I'm going to preach this until the cows come crying home. You got a good coach. You just got to give him time. And also, don't try to treat him like Saban 2.0. It's a recipe for disaster, and you're already setting yourself up to fail. But Saban's departure is going to have a positive effect for a multitude of teams that have been at the forefront of his disdain, his wrath, his anger, his persona that has really set the course of college football in the SEC as we know it. So who are those programs that benefit the most? I'm going to tell you who number one is. And it's a clear-cut option. It's not Georgia. Everyone wants to go ahead and turn to Georgia, but for the last several seasons, last I checked, Georgia's been able to be right alongside Alabama. In fact, you'll hear people saying going into this year, Georgia surpassed Alabama. So they don't benefit from Saban's retirement. They were just now reaping in what could come. Tennessee's number one. Tennessee is number one. Go ahead and look at the third Saturday in October. It was at one point one of the biggest and brightest rivalries in college football. And it still carries weight in the SEC among fans that bleed the orange and white and the crimson and white. Plain and simple, it is a game of all games. Saban lost once. He lost once in that series. The third Saturday in October was basically Alabama pulling the arms of Tennessee fans and making them scream uncle. That was the visual representation every season, except for 2022 when Hendon Hooker decided to finally go Super Saiyan. Outside of that, it's been Alabama. Alabama, Alabama, Alabama. And it also carries weight on the recruiting trail. And it also carries weight in the transfer portal. And it also carries weight in terms of records and how you're viewed in a positive spectrum among SEC teams. You can't get past Alabama. Well, maybe now you can. Josh Heupel is an offensive innovator that understands this game better than most, and the way that he's been able to orchestrate his personnel is lethal. It can carry weight in the SEC. There were many people this year who were saying this was the season where the Vols surpassed Georgia. They get past the Bulldogs, they get past Alabama, and they're punching their ticket to the college football playoff. Last season, they were ranked number one for a little bit. Tennessee, Rocky Top rolling. Well, now that can actually be a possibility. You have the quarterback in Nico Iamaleava. You have a returning a bunch of talent, of veteranship, and I think that the defense is going to turn the corner going into year 4 of this era. So I'm really excited to see what Tennessee can be. They're a team with a lethal fan base. They're a team with one of the biggest fan bases and one of the best fan bases in college football. But part of the reason they've been so loyal is they've been waiting for this moment to get back on top. And Rocky Top can. They absolutely can now that Saban is no longer running the show in Tuscaloosa, especially in a new world of college football where there are no longer questions about divisions. It's just simply put, 2 best teams go to Atlanta. Will that be Tennessee? Maybe. Number 2, Ole Miss. Ole Miss has always been that number 3 team. Go back and look at the history of college football. When you talk about Ole Miss and the relevancy, they've always been the tier 2, tier 3, and in recent memory, they've been the next team. You know about Georgia, you know about LSU, you know about Alabama, but then it's just like Ole Miss is hanging around. We're good. We're 9-3. We're 10-2. We're putting up quality years to where the numbers are backing that we are trending in the right direction. But they've never been able to get past Nick. they've never been able to get past winning the SEC West. They've never made the trip down to Atlanta. Now that changes. You look at the returning talent going into 2023. Jackson Dart, Trey Harris, Caden Priestcorn, Jared Pegas, Jared Ivey. All of them are coming back to Oxford for next season. And you added in a bunch of superstar talent. Princely Manley Ellen, Walter Nolan. You brought over Juice Walls from South Carolina. So it's basically a retool, regroup, reload, build for 2023. And you know what? Kiffin's done it to a team. He has the number 2 transfer portal class in college football. He had a top 20 recruiting class. And now let's just say that they win next season against Kalen DeBoer. Let's just say that they go ahead and they hold their own. Well, they don't play actually Alabama next year. Let's just say they run the table next year and they make it to Atlanta. Let's just say that they win the SEC championship. And now they're on top of the SEC random community. Well, now recruits are saying, Ole Miss, they're usually top 20 in recruiting, maybe in the high 20s, maybe high teens, maybe around there. What if I were to join that roster? What if I were to go to Mississippi instead of Alabama? What if I were to go ahead and commit to Lane over Kalen? Well, now, proof of concept. You're not only winning on the transfer portal, but you're winning on the recruiting trail. And there have been a ton of names that have snubbed Ole Miss to go to Alabama. Maybe that won't be the case with Lane. He's building an identity and a culture. Who says odd couples don't attract? A guy like Kiffin has had success down in Oxford. And now that his mentor, somebody that he has praised for years on end, is gone, he gets to reap the benefits of it. Number 3, LSU. LSU has always been the constant number 2 in the SEC West. They've always come up short behind Alabama. Even in years where they have looked like the better team, they've usually collapsed, whether that be in Baton Rouge or whether that be in Tuscaloosa. Here's the thing. You have one of the best coaches in college football. In fact, I would say right now, Brian Kelly, depending on the situation that goes on with Jim Harbaugh in Ann Arbor. Number 3, maybe at best number 2. He's that good of a coach. He knows how to recruit. That's proven based off his number 1 recruiting class. He knows how to build rosters that have sustainability, back-to-back 10-win seasons. He's had an offense that has been potent as all hell, and he has a Heisman Trophy quarterback at his disposal. The man knows what he's doing down in Baton Rouge, and the cows can come crying home before you catch me slipping on Brian Kelly. This was always an elite hire for Scott Woodward down in the Tigers. It was always a great move. Well, now that Saban's gone, kids that are looking at Alabama are also looking at LSU. And now momentum as of this moment switches to Brian Kelly from Nick Saban. You already know that you can beat Nick Saban. You did it in 2022. You know that you can beat Alabama. You've done it on constant occasions, whether that be in 2019 or whether that be in 2011. You know that the program like LSU can hold weight against the Crimson Tide. And so that's not going to go away quietly anytime soon. And if you think otherwise, guess what? You're wrong. Because Brian Kelly knows what he's doing. He's a damn good coach. And guess what else is going to happen? They're going to have a shot of not only taking players from Alabama, but also surpassing Alabama when it comes to every avenue. Recruiting, transfer portal, they have the resources. You may not want to believe it, but in the swamps of Louisiana, there are a few programs that carry weight the way LSU does at the national perspective. They are built to win for the long run. Next up, new team in the SEC, Texas. Texas for a while has always been compared to Alabama, and it's not because of they have the same type of coaches, but because of they carry a lot of weight. The script day in Alabama means something to fans in the Yellowhammer State, just like the burnt orange Longhorn logo means something to those in the Lone Star State. And so players were starting to leave Texas to go play in Tuscaloosa. Well, now they're not going because Nick Saban's not there. They were committing to a program, but they were really committing to people. People like Nick Saban, people like Coach T-Rob, people like Tommy Reese and Kevin Steele, and the oodles of other staff members that have resided in T-Town at some point. Well, now, Sark's not going anywhere. A place like Texas is an elite program when run properly, and Sark's gotten down to a T. It's a method that is absolutely working in his favor. So he's not going anywhere. He just signed a contract extension. There aren't that many jobs out there that better than Texas. And so you know your coach is going here. You know that you're going to be well put. You know that your team is going to be fighting for SEC championships and national championships. And you also know that you're going to reap the benefits. Go look at the roster that has recently declared for the NFL draft. Go remember where they started and where they are today. A lot of them are going to be first-round picks or day 2 selections because of the implement of what Sark preached. And so now, proof of concept and proof of knowledge, The Longhorns are going to get back the state of Texas from Alabama. They're going to benefit from Saban not being there because you don't get the Saban discount. You don't get the lesser opportunities to play for the GOAT now in T-Town. Now you got to go play for Kalen DeBoer. Does that mean something to you? And last but not least is Georgia. Case in point, Kirby Smart has beaten Alabama one time. One time. This past year, Alabama had a weaker roster. Alabama had a weaker offense. Alabama had questions at the wide receiver spot. Alabama had questions on its defense at times. Alabama had questions with its entirety persona this past year. And a lot of people wondered, was this the game where it all comes crashing down? Nope. Because Nick Saban had Kirby Smart's number. You beat him once, that's great. You give him 2 times, guess what? Saban's going to come prepared. And he has. Every chance. Minus 2021. That's it. So you do benefit from not having Saban because now you are viewed as the face of college football. You are viewed as the face of the SEC. You've already been able to recruit at Saban's level. You've already been able to retain talent at Saban's level. And you've already been able to work the transfer portal like Saban's level. You've brought in premier names or qualified names that benefit from playing in Athens like they have for years in Tuscaloosa. And your coaching staff is basically the same, and it doesn't feel like it's changing anytime soon. And if it is, it's changing because the same way that we would watch coordinators leave Alabama year in and year out, but the concept never changed. It's the same thing in Athens now. Wash, rinse, repeat. We got to hire a new OC. Okay, our persona is not changing. We got to bring in a new signal caller defensively for linebackers coach. Okay, our enigma's not changing. Our angles aren't changing. Kirby Smart is built just like Nick Saban in terms of he sets goals at the start of the year, and if they're not met, it's down season. That's the way that he views his program and the way that most college football coaches have to view their program. So yes, Georgia benefits because they no longer have to worry about Saban having Kirby's number, but they also benefit because of now they're viewed as the team to beat. Alabama, as good as a program as it's been for 17 seasons, is facing questions. They are. No if, ands, or buts about it. And if you are an Alabama fan watching this video, just know I believe in Kalen DeBoer. I believe in the messaging. I believe that when you look at the way his coaching staff is being built, you're salivating at the mouth. It may just take a year or two for you to get back to the reign of supremacy, which means that next season, these type of programs get to benefit. They absolutely will benefit, in my opinion. Not saying they will win against Alabama, not saying they will lose to Alabama. I am saying, though, this is leveling the playing field for opportunities and upsets galore. LSU is going to benefit. Ole Miss is going to benefit. Texas is going to benefit. Georgia is without question going to benefit just in terms of the national narrative. But the team that benefits the most is Tennessee. I'm going to tell you guys right now, if you go into next season believing that Rocky Top is going to get rolled, as of this moment, you were sadly mistaken. The Vols have just as clear of a shot as Alabama to win the third Saturday in October. And also continue the tradition of winning for the long term, kind of like Nick Saban did for 16 plus seasons. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching that video. Don't hit the X button yet. Make sure you hit subscribe to keep up with all of our daily content found on Just Saying It and anything else that we post on this channel. Bye.